A study used to approve the most common weed killer in the world was just exposed as corporate fraud. And after 25 years of shaping global food policy, it was finally retracted. But the cancer connection everyone's talking about is only part of the story. What nobody's telling you is how glyphosate has been silently destroying your gut bacteria, poisoning your cells, and robbing you of the energy you need to actually live your life. I'm Dr. Stephen Presciutti, and today we're going deep on the glyphosate cover-up, what it means for your metabolism, and what you can actually do about it. Let's start with what just happened. In the year 2000, a paper was published in a journal called Regulatory Toxicology and Pharmacology. The authors were Williams, Croes, and Munro, and their conclusion was clear: glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup and the most widely used herbicide on Earth, pose no cancer risk to humans. This paper became the scientific foundation for regulators around the world. The EPA cited it. The WHO referenced it. Health agencies globally use it to justify approving glyphosate for use on the crops that end up on your plate every single day. For a quarter century, whenever someone questioned glyphosate safety, this study was the trump card. The science was settled. Move along. Except the science was a lie. Through US litigation, internal documents revealed that Monsanto employees secretly ghostwrote substantial portions of the paper without ever being listed as authors. The independent scientists whose names appeared on the study were essentially fronts for corporate messaging. But it gets worse. The paper relied almost entirely on Monsanto's own unpublished studies while conveniently ignoring existing long-term animal research that showed tumor development. The authors had undisclosed financial ties to Monsanto. And when the journal finally investigated decades later, the surviving author refused to respond to questions. The journal's retraction notice states that the paper's integrity has collapsed entirely. Let that sink in. For 25 years, millions of pounds of glyphosate were approved, defended, and sprayed across the world based on a study that was fundamentally compromised and scientifically invalid. And your gut, your hormones, and your cellular energy have been paying the price. Now, most of the conversation around glyphosate focuses on cancer, and rightfully so. In 2015, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer classified glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen. This led to massive lawsuits linking glyphosate to non-Hodgkin lymphoma. A 2019 meta-analysis looked at data from over 65,000 participants across 6 studies and found a 41% increased risk of non-Hodgkin lymphoma among those with the highest glyphosate exposure. That's not a small number. Even more alarming, a 2025 controlled animal study found that glyphosate induced rare, aggressive, and fatal cancers across more than 10 different organs, including the liver, thyroid, kidney, mammary glands, skin, pituitary gland, adrenal gland, intestines, spleen, testes, and thymus. And here's the kicker: these cancers developed at doses considered safe by both US and EU regulatory thresholds. The research is damning. But cancer is the dramatic endpoint. What I want to talk about today is what's happening in your body right now, the slow, insidious damage that's occurring with every meal. You've probably heard the talking point that glyphosate targets a biological pathway that doesn't exist in human cells, the shikimate pathway. And that's technically true. But here's what they conveniently left out. Your gut bacteria absolutely have this pathway, and they depend on it to produce essential nutrients that your human cells can't make on their own. MIT senior research scientist Dr. Stephanie Seneff has spent over a decade researching glyphosate's effects. Her conclusion? Glyphosate's mechanism of toxicity is unique and diabolical. It's a slow killer, slowly robbing you of your good health over time. But here's the real breakthrough that makes everything click. Glyphosate is a glycine analog. The gly in glyphosate literally stands for glycine. And because these molecules are structurally similar biological systems, where glyphosate is present, we'll readily use it as a replacement for glycine. Dr. Seneff describes it like this: it's like swapping diesel for gasoline in your car. The results are disastrous. Glycine is one of the most important amino acids in your body. It's a key component of collagen, the primary protein in your connective tissue that constitutes about 1/4 of your body's total proteins. Collagen has a beautiful triple helix structure with long sequences where every third amino acid is a glycine. Those glycines hook together to form that triple helix, giving collagen its special properties of tensile strength and flexibility. When glyphosate substitutes for glycine during protein synthesis, you get misfolded proteins. The result? Joint problems, back pain, hip replacements, shoulder surgery, knee issues, foot problems. There are people who have genetic mutations in those glycines that cause joint and bone diseases. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, for example, is associated with glycine mutations in collagen, and there's been a significant increase in the prevalence of that syndrome recently. Glyphosate may be causing the same effects through a different mechanism. Glyphosate is an incredibly efficient metal chelator. It binds metals and minerals exceptionally well. In fact, glyphosate is 1,000,000 times more effective at chelating aluminum than EDTA, a chelating agent used in heavy metal chelation treatment. This disrupts your gut microbes because it makes minerals unavailable to them. Your gut microbes need those minerals, as their enzymes depend on them for proper functioning. When lactobacillus bacteria are killed off in your gut, your ability to digest gluten and casein is impaired. This bacterium carries several enzymes your body doesn't have that specialize in breaking down proline, an amino acid found in gluten and casein. This can eventually lead to autoimmune problems. The protein sticks around, the peptide sequence causes an immune reaction, and then you can get an autoimmune attack through molecular mimicry. The antibody misrecognizes a human protein because it looks like the piece of gluten that the body became sensitive to, so it attacks a human protein instead. This explains the epidemic of food sensitivities we're seeing today. When your beneficial gut bacteria are disrupted by glyphosate, it creates the perfect storm for something called endotoxin. Endotoxin is literally a piece of bacterial cell wall. When bacteria in your gut die or overgrow in the wrong places, they release endotoxin. In a healthy gut with proper barriers, this stays contained in your intestines where it gets eliminated. But in the modern gut, especially one compromised by glyphosate exposure, endotoxin crosses into your bloodstream. And when that happens, your metabolism takes a direct hit. Endotoxin directly blocks ATP production in your liver. ATP is your cellular energy currency. Your liver is metabolic command central. It's where thyroid hormone gets converted to its active form. It's where blood sugar gets regulated. It's where your body detoxifies hormones and environmental chemicals. When endotoxin floods your liver, it's like a cyber attack on your metabolic mainframe. Energy production crashes. Thyroid hormone conversion stalls. Blood sugar regulation fails. You're not just inflamed, you're metabolically paralyzed. This is why you're exhausted even though you got 8 hours of sleep. This is why your brain feels like it's moving through fog. This is why the weight won't budge no matter what diet you try. It's not a willpower problem. It's a cellular energy crisis. The shikimate pathway in your gut microbes produces the aromatic amino acids tryptophan, tyrosine, and phenylalanine. These are crucial amino acids that go into all the proteins of your body. They're absolutely essential for protein assembly, and your body must rely on your diet and gut microbes to produce adequate amounts. When your gut microbes are harmed by glyphosate, it can result in deficiency of these critical amino acids. And these amino acids are precursors to many important biologically active molecules. Tryptophan is a precursor to melatonin and serotonin. Serotonin deficiency is connected to depression. We have an epidemic in depression today. Tyrosine is a precursor to thyroid hormone, dopamine, and adrenaline. These are critical hormones that control brain behavior and regulate mood. Some of the B vitamins also come out of the shikimate pathway, including thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin. You need thiamine for augmenting your immune system. If you don't have adequate thiamine, you're not going to be able to generate a healthy immune response. If you're disrupting the shikimate pathway in your gut microflora with glyphosate exposure, you've got a huge problem. Buying non-GMO isn't enough to protect yourself. Many non-GMO crops have been shown to have some of the highest levels of glyphosate. Why? Because crops like oats, wheat, barley, chickpeas, and lentils are sprayed with glyphosate right before harvest as a desiccant to speed the drying process. This means residue levels can be highest at the exact time of consumption. There's a strong correlation between the rise in celiac disease over time and the rise in glyphosate usage on wheat specifically. Estimates suggest that 1 pound of glyphosate is applied in the US every year for every man, woman, and child in America. That's an astounding amount. I'm not here to terrify you. I'm here to empower you. Yes, glyphosate exposure is concerning, but your body has remarkable healing capacity when you give it what it needs and remove what's harming it. Here's where to start. First, choose organic when possible, especially for high exposure foods. Glyphosate is used heavily on wheat, oats, corn, soy, and sugar beets. Prioritizing organic versions of these foods can significantly reduce your exposure. Second, take a glycine supplement. This is one of the most important recommendations. By taking a glycine supplement, you can counteract glyphosate's effects by making sure there's enough glycine present to fill up those glycine slots before glyphosate gets there. If there's lots of glycine available, you're much less likely to pick up glyphosate. Glycine is not expensive and it's very safe. Third, eat a high sulfur diet. Sulfur is crucial for the health of your metabolism and immune system. Foods high in sulfur include eggs, garlic, onions, well-cooked cruciferous vegetables, and grass-fed meat. Fourth, support your gut's natural defenses. One of the simplest tools is the daily raw carrot salad. Grate a raw, peeled carrot lengthwise. Add a teaspoon of coconut oil, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and a generous pinch of salt. The unique fibers in raw carrot combined with the antimicrobial properties of coconut oil create an inhospitable environment for pathogenic bacteria while helping sweep endotoxin from your intestines. Fifth, focus on easily digestible foods that absorb high in the small intestine. When food ferments in your lower gut, it feeds bacteria that produce endotoxin. Ripe fruits, well-cooked starches, and simple sugars absorb quickly, leaving less fuel for problematic bacterial overgrowth. And sixth, support your cellular energy production. Your mitochondria need adequate fuel to produce ATP. This means eating enough, not chronically restricting calories. It means choosing saturated fats like butter, coconut oil, and ghee while avoiding the polyunsaturated seed oils that impair cellular respiration. The retraction of this fraudulent study isn't just a correction in a scientific journal. It's an indictment of an entire regulatory system built on corporate influence and scientific manipulation. For 25 years, you were told the chemicals on your food were safe. You trusted the experts. You followed the guidelines. And all along, the foundational research was ghostwritten by the company profiting from the product. Your fatigue isn't a character flaw. Your brain fog isn't just aging. Your stubborn weight isn't a lack of willpower. Your body has been dealing with an assault it was never designed to handle, and nobody told you the truth. Until now. The collapse of this paper is a wake-up call. Not just about glyphosate, but about the importance of questioning what we've been told about health, nutrition, and the food system. Your body wants to heal. Your cells want to produce energy. Your gut wants to function properly. Sometimes the first step is simply removing what's been blocking that natural capacity all along. If you're struggling with fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, or stubborn weight, and you suspect there's something deeper going on, you're probably right. Our free energy roadmap assessment helps you identify exactly what's blocking your cellular energy production and gives you a personalized starting point for restoration. It takes 5 minutes. And it might be the most important 5 minutes you spend on your health this year. The link is in the description below. You came to the right place. Let's figure this out together. I'm Dr. Stephen Presciutti with Biospark Health. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.